what's going on with you now, because what really enticed me was because yeah, we'll get into when you auditioned or however the whole story for Velvet Revolver, but the new Guns N' Roses drummer Isaac Carpenter, you've worked with him recently, and he's part of your some of your new music. So I'm kind of
Yeah,
eager to talk about that since Isaac is new. So let's get
yeah,
into it.
yeah. It's a good link. I want to be just be really careful because these are all people that are very dear to me. So I want to be careful that I don't exploit their situation, and I speak about them as clearly and lovingly as I can, because I can talk to you all day about Isaac. I've known Isaac for a really long time. We were both signed with DreamWorks going back years ago, and I first heard Isaac in his band Loudermilk, and that whole band. I mean, every each member in the band is really special and talented, and I fell in love with their band right away, and I became an early kind of cheerleader for them, and just wanting the best for them, and just anything I could do or be a part of with them. I really wanted that to be the case. So yeah, the years went on, and um, difficult keeping a band together. So they kind of did all different things, and they went different ways. And it came up a few times to have Isaac come and play. It first came up. We were making the Mercy record with Rick Rubin, and we were up in Rick's house up in Laurel Canyon, the Chili Peppers spot there, where they did Blood, Sugar, Sex, and Magic. And funny enough, it's just always on the search for great drummers, and I have had a real specific thing about drummers as far as the feel, and I've been known to have it's not. I'm very particular about drummers, so
Okay.
um, and at that time on the Mercy album, we had somebody named Michael Jerome playing drums, who both Isaac and I, all of Loudermilk and all of ours, we loved this drummer because he had played in a band called Pleasure Club with another dear friend of ours, James Hall. And so when it came up that we're going to make the record with Rick and he was going to produce it, I felt like, well, this is my opportunity to kind of have anybody that I wanted. And so Rick really wanted Stephen Perkins, and he came up and played with us one night, and it was pretty amazing. Right away, right out of the gate, he just played all of the right things. And then, but my thought on it was that for better or for worse, whether I was right or wrong, it's debatable. But um, I just felt like I wanted more unknown players to play on the album if I was going to have any special guests. I didn't want it to be a thing about like an all-star kind of, I didn't want to cherry pick the all-stars. I wanted to find people that hadn't really had a break yet and that I really believed in. So there were two
Okay.
people for me on that list, and one was this guy, Michael Jerome, and Isaac was the other. And both, like I said, Isaac and I had so much respect for Michael that when it came up that he could do it, we were both blown away and excited by it. And what happened was our final night of tracking, we had to get out of the house because the Chili Peppers were coming in a day. And I found this out very last minute because very loose the way that things go there sometimes in the world of Rick. Just there's so many moving parts. And so
I can
right
imagine.
yeah, right. A few days before, it was the end of February in 2005, and I got a call, and it's a short month, and I got a call saying, "Hey Jimmy, you've just about finished up. The Chili Peppers have to get in there on the 1st of March," and I just kind of went into shock because we didn't really have all the drums tracked yet. So the final night of tracking, because the drummer also had to leave and go on a tour, we tracked the final song and opened it up the next day to work on it. And and to listen to what was done and found that the drum tracks were gone. They just disappeared. So the assistant must have copied the backup over the main drive. It was late and must have just gotten confused and copied the wrong one. So
I've been there. It's a nightmare. It's
yeah, so it's just
oh yeah.
blank. And it
Oh,
was a really great performance. So it was kind of crushing. But right away my brain just went to Isaac's right up over the hill. And he said if we need anything to give him a call. So gave him a call and he came in right away and crushed it, knocked it out. It turned out that we moved to another studio out in Burbank, and so we ended up having another month to track. And so we were able to line it up to have Michael come back and finish his performance again. But Isaac's was amazing. It would have done just as well, but I just wanted to keep it consistent.
okay.
So that was the first time we had Isaac come out, and then since then I had been, Isaac was always on my wish list of somebody to play with us, and it was just a matter of lining up our schedules and having the budget to have him because he deserves to be paid well. So finally, we were able to have him on a few recordings. I always wanted him to play with us live for years, but um, yeah, it looks like that's going to be even what
Yeah,
we.
that might wait. Yeah, that might be a bit because yeah, um, it's pretty remarkable to see the fan reaction because you never know with a new member just how well he seems to fit in and fans thinking like he's a mix of Adler and Sorum and me. I'm just jealous of those abs, man. Did he always have those abs? Is that his?
Yeah, he's a powerhouse. He's he it's for me as a singer, songwriter, and producer and engineer and mix engineer, there's certain people who see the big picture, and Isaac just he he can take the reins and do everything just the same himself. He's really the organizer of everything. Often in his world, he's great at it, at bringing everything together, and so that goes across the board with him being in great shape, and he's just a really, really fine-tuned, amazing talent, and he's really worked hard for years, and there's nobody better, for me for years, and we can kind of get into it, but because it's all connected, um, going back to my time spent with Velvet Revolver and um, which we can get into, but for me, my it's all connected. And I can explain more as you ask questions. I don't want to go on too long about it, but Isaac was always the perfect person for that seat, in my opinion. And I think Duff has always loved him as well. And so I just felt like wait until everybody hears him. I'm excited for everybody to hear him because there's something that happens, and I really like Frank as well. Um, I was happy to hear him play because he could swing and stuff, and that's important with that music. It's important to me that who am I to say, but for the gun stuff, it's like I've always felt for it to be really sleazy and right,
Mm.
that it kind of needed to be really greasy, and I didn't think that just a straight up rock drummer was the right person for that seat ever. You needed to have some grease in there, um and Isaac has it. He just has that feel, and he's technically able to do anything that I've ever heard a drummer do. But he has the restraint to not, and he's just got such a big, fat, consistent pocket that you feel you feel safe when he's playing. You feel comfortable. He's driving the ship, and you know that the space is there that you want.
Well, I really appreciate that and then learning about him because I don't know if now he may be untouchable as far as getting an interview, but I digress. And I do want to say this because I think you've got my sense of humor or my corniness. I just told you I'm a dad. I've been saying dad jokes for years now. I have a reason. So I also like Isaac. And this is coming from a non-musician, the aesthetics that I see. he's a short king like myself, right? Like how is he? What is
He
he? Five? I'm
he's
5'6".
he's
He's a little taller
tiny.
than me.
He's
Okay.
tiny. I'm not sure exactly how tall he is, but he's there's a lot of power in that.
It makes me feel like I could, in another life I could have done that. And
He's
I'll say this real quick because there's a picture of him and Duff, which is very
I mean
tall.
that would be literally.
Right. So I couldn't help but put side by side a picture of that and the poster from Twins,
Mhm.
from Schwarzenegger and DeVito.
Okay.
And somebody
Yeah,
got mad at that. You never know who's going to get mad at something. But
yeah, but yeah, I mean,
I digress.
it, it's kind of the same difference I think between Duff and myself, and then me, and then Isaac. But I can tell you, there's a lot of power, um, and vision and discipline, in that body. He's 10 feet tall when he plays.
Right on.